summary latest developments. A source with knowledge of the talks said that the talks, mediated by Qatar, aimed to release 10-15 hostages held by Hamas in exchange for a 1 to 2 day humanitarian pause. GAZAJERUSALEM. November 8. Thousands of Palestinian civilians set out from northern Gaza on Wednesday in a desperate march to escape Israeli airstrikes and fierce ground-s between Israeli soldiers and Hamas militants. The exodus took place during a 4-hour window of opportunity during which Israel instructed residents to evacuate the north, which was surrounded by its armored forces, or risk violence. But as war between Islamist Hamas rulers and Israel enters its second month, the central and southern parts of small besieged Palestinian enclave have come under fire again. Palestinian health officials said 18 people were killed in an airstrike on houses in the Nuseyrat refugee camp on Wednesday morning. 6 people, including a young girl, lost their lives in the air attack in Khan Younis. We were sitting peacefully when suddenly an F-16 airstrike landed on a house and blew it up the entire block. 3 houses next to each other, said an eyewitness named Mohammed Abu Daqa. There is an old woman, an old man and others still missing under the rubble. While army stated that soldiers were advancing towards the heart of city. Hamas said its fighters suffered heavy losses. Israel struck Gaza in response to a cross-border raid by Hamas into southern Israel on October 7. According to Israeli records, gunmen killed 1,400 people, mostly civilians, and took approximately 240 hostages. Tunnel network. In a statement on Wednesday, the army said 130 tunnel shafts have been destroyed so far. The statement said, combat engineers fighting in Gaza are destroying the enemy's weapons and locating, exposing and detonating tunnel shafts. The Israeli army said that Hamas arms producer Mahsein Abu Zina and many fighters were also killed in the airstrikes. Israel announced that 33 of its soldiers were killed. UN officials and G7 world powers have stepped up calls for a humanitarian pause in the war to help ease the suffering of civilians in Gaza, where Israeli has destroyed entire neighborhoods and depleted basic supplies. It is important to ensure that Israel understands that it is against its interests to see every day horrific spectacle of dramatic humanitarian needs of Palestinian people. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres told Next Conference on Wednesday. This does not help Israel in terms of global public opinion. 17 Palestinians flee their homes during an Israeli ground assault on the edge of the Sahil refugee camp in Gaza City. November 8, 2023. Mohammed Al-Masri receives licensing rights. Palestinian officials said that 10,569 people, 40% of whom were children. The level of death and suffering was incomprehensible, UN Health Agency spokesman Christian Lindmeier said in Geneva. Negotiations mediated by Qatar, where many Hamas political lead